jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports,
Yo, once again, thanks for tuning in. You're listening to World Combat Sports. Salute to everyone that's in the building, man. Hit the like button. You know what I'm saying? Share the content. Pass the word for other people to come over here to subscribe, man. You know what's popping. Salute to the ones in the workforce who's out here working every day, going out there providing for themselves and family, man. Salute to you. Nothing's really guaranteed, especially with all this virus and everything going on. If you have employment out there, salute to you, man. Go out there and continue. Man, we got some topics that's, I have having conversations with people in general. And, not everybody's supposed to sit up here and agree with, boxing conversations because they can just go left and right so fast, man. They're so sporadic. But the conversation arose about, the lightweight division and the fights that just took place. And you get around individuals that I consider temporaries of boxing. And then every now and then you have those who actually pay attention to the sport enough to speak on it. So they was giving their breakdown on who should be next in line to fight Kambosos. So therefore, they, when Gervonta come up, they always want to link him up to Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather's going to bring in the money. Stay with Floyd Mayweather. Stay comfortable. Continue to let Floyd move and everything else. But the question was, who should face Kambosos next? That was the question. I didn't say who Floyd was, who Gervonta was with, but that's how the casuals speak on it. Then they would go over and speak about Devin Haney. And their feedback on Devin Haney is that, he's a WBC champion. He is a champion in that division. But then you look for them to go further into it, further in depth. Okay, well, you're going to answer the question, like, who should be next? What are we talking about? Like, the lightweight division right now is a blooming onion. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot that you can pick from and how this can go with the next fighter facing Kambosos, right? So therefore, it comes down to King Mitch in the building. Salute to you there. Appreciate you on deck there, King Mitch. They're talking about, Devin Haney in general being a champion. And with all the odds, the eliminating the odds and the Powerball and the lottery mentality, it should indeed be Devin Haney next. That's what I was trying to explain to them. And then they'll give you a circuitous pretty much breakdown, and then they'll say, well, he has the title. It's just puzzling to me how, they'll say, okay, he has the title, but yet they don't easily place him into the equation to face George Kambosos next. You know what I'm saying? They rather look at the popularity. Y'all have to understand, boxing in this era has turned into a social media popularity contest. Okay, moving on to Lomachenko. You know how people look at fighters, opponents? Do you ever try to analyze and just sit there and relax a little bit and really process, like, who an opponent is fighting, I'm not talking about just because you know the name. I'm speaking on how relevant is that fighter's opponent. Do you ever know? Do you ever feel this when you look at someone like Lomachenko? No matter who he's fighting, people basically elevate the shit out of his opposition because he's the one who's fighting him. But yet he's not a PPV star. He's none of that. But whenever it comes to Lomachenko, people elevate his opposition. Even if that person just was knocked out by Teofimo Lopez, people be nice. People elevate his opposition. They don't really say, okay, he a bum. He this. And he shouldn't be in there and all this other shit. They don't really grab hold and chew him up until the fight is over. Just because he was stepping in there with Lomachenko, and they want to make it seem like braggadociously that Lomachenko is doing something special. So I'm breaking things down to them how the lightweight lottery is working right now. You know, I say if you had to pick 1, 2, 3 on who's supposed to, get this fight, who should get this fight with Kambosos, who would you pick? And when it came down to casual boxing, and these are casuals, there was a couple of people in there that really taught boxing. You know what I'm saying? The casuals mentioned Javante first, right? And then I say, okay, who's next? They say, well, the brother, they say Devin. He got the belt, right? Yeah, he got the belt. Yeah, him. All right. And then they say Lomachenko. You know why? Because they really don't know Lomachenko. You know what I'm saying? They really don't know Lomachenko. And they don't know if he's going to be entertaining to the fight fans. So they really don't choose Lomachenko like that. Now, the hardcore boxing fans, they would have a different lottery pick when it came down to what I just told you. Hardcore boxing fans may place Lomachenko into the number 1 slot, and I'm gonna tell you why. They would place Lomachenko up there because they're always quick to applaud his amateur accolades when he's a profession. That follow him everywhere. That follow him more than Carissa Shields. Real talk, more than Carissa Shields, more than Rigondeaux. When it comes to Olympic pedigree, they always mention Lomachenko, right? So then moving forward, they always look at Lomachenko like he's this special kind of boxing god, so to speak. He haven't pissed anybody off. He can box. And then when you bring up the fact of how he looked against Teofimo Lopez, and then they start to say, well, styles make fights. That was a bad style matchup for him. I say, so what about him not putting enough effort in the first half of the fight? Like I said, styles make fights and all of that. I say, it's gibberish, though. It doesn't make sense. That's gallimacious what you're talking about. That's foolishness. You know what I'm saying? It's foolishness. You signed a contract to fight. Let's not give this man excuses, because I can very well turn it over and ask them about Devin Haney, and they'll say some stuff. Well, he looked this way at this fight and that fight. I say, what about him being the champion? And I try to explain to them, we're working toward a common denominator. We're working toward a finale. The finale in the lightweight division is the underscoring of undisputed. Period. And then the casual fans ask, well, don't that dude that just won BTO, don't he have all the belts? I said he has several of the belts, but Devin Haney has the coveted WBC title that's been around boxing for quite some time. And then, you have to get into the explanation of the franchise championship and everything else that goes along with that. I say, but in the interim, let's stay on topic. I said, give me your assessment of Devin Haney being in there with Kambosos. If he has a belt and we're fighting to basically banish any doubt of the lightweight division, shouldn't he be first in line to face Kambosos? And they say, yeah, you're right. He should be in line. But see, when they say that, I have to ask them to explain. I said, okay, explain to me why you think he should. And then they say something like, well, he has a belt, don't he? I said, but Kambosos, he doesn't have to fight him because he has this belt called the franchise title. He doesn't have to. But to the fans, a lot of us is calling for Devin Haney to step in there with George Kambosos because he has a device, a championship device, a badge, a medal around his waist that basically identifies him as the last man standing outside of George Kambosos with belts. When you want to see winner take all and take this shit to the house, when you want to see that, I said, let me break this down. Gervonta is not going to be around to fight. So you have two remaining names that's out there. You have Lomachenko and Devin Haney. So I asked this question. I wish I could have, recorded it and everything else because I like having random conversations, but people change up when they're in front of the lens. You know what I'm saying? They change up the shit. And this is just random conversation. So I'm speaking to them and trying to have them just speak their own mind. Don't let me influence you on who you should pick. I'm just trying to gather content from the casual boxing fans out here in life on how they perceive what's going on in lightweight division, even if what they know about it and what they don't know about it. I just want to gather data, process it, and I want to speak on it later. But I'm asking you for your opinion, your genuine, sincere opinion on who do you think should get the fight, because this is one of the biggest dilemmas that's going on right now in boxing. You know what I'm saying? Outside of the fantasy stuff that's going on at 147. This is one of the bigger fights. It has the overwhelming climactic suspense attached to it. It's a lot that goes along with who's going to be next for Kambosos. I said, but tell me, eliminating Gervonta, who's next? Who do you pick, Devin Haney or Lomachenko? So when it came down to them selecting, some said Devin Haney and some said Lomachenko. But the ones that were saying Lomachenko's was simply because they did not know anything about Devin Haney. They didn't know anything about Devin Haney. But the ones who was choosing Lomachenko, they had seen him fight a time or two and somebody else had told them, something about it. So I said to myself, damn, okay. This is kind of making a little bit more sense. Okay? Because a lot of us is pushing for Devin Haney to get this fight. Including myself. We pushing for Devin Haney the face Kambosos. Real talk, right? But I'm finding out there's individuals out here that should know about Devin Haney, especially here in the South. They should know of him. They should know of him at this stage. They should know of him more than they know about Lomachenko. And then, the hardcore boxing fans say, no, not necessarily, because Lomachenko is this, and this, and he's did more and da-da-da. But peep this out, though. There can be fighters out here that are well known, and they haven't accomplished what Lomachenko has. Like, we see these fighters coming up right now. You know what I'm saying? We see the Keyshawn Davises that's coming up right now. We see the Shakur Stevensons is coming up. We're seeing fighters that really haven't accomplished what Lomachenko has in his amateur pedigree. But we can honestly say that some fighters out here are very popular. And just take it for instance, Xander Zayas. Xander Zayas, if he continues on this route, the dude's gonna be a superstar before he even accomplished the big fights. Like, he's not fighting any big names right now, but people are basically, I'm talking about, excited when he's on the card. They're excited when he walks out to the ring. They're cheering like I don't know what. And that's what I'm saying. When it comes to Devin Haney, there needs to be a second avenue to attract more fans for this fight. And I understand that There's an article out there about they're saying that Team Haney is basically requesting the fans to push for the Kambosos fight. I absolutely see nothing wrong with that. Do what the fuck you got to do. Do what the fuck you got to do, bro. This is a long time coming. You know what I'm saying? Bill Haney asking media to support his son. Absolutely, you should do that, because at this point in time, you get certain people to say that you're begging. You know what I'm saying? You're reaching the low of the low. You shouldn't have to do that for your son. But yes, you do. You do have to ask people when it comes down to this. Because look, check it out this way. Check it out this way. If he doesn't ask fans and let them know where his heart is at and say, hey, I've pretty much done what I can do leading up to this point. I've been everywhere I could be. Now I'm just going to change up the language a little bit. I'm requesting your help. I'm requesting you all to support. And what I mean by support, speak on this fight with my son and George Kambosos, because we want it. We need it. We want the fight. Because Devin Haney, like I said, he goes in here and fights Kambosos and win. It totally catapults his career into a whole nother dimension when it comes to popularity. And that's exactly what he needs. Because it seems like people understand Devin is making money over there in Matchroom. But somehow, some way, he's in an enigma right now. People are refusing to latch on to him because there's a disconnect. They only can connect to those individuals only connect to what they see on social media. They refuse to connect to what he's doing in the ring because they're being extremely critical as to what his name represents out here in the boxing community. When you say Devin Haney, they expecting his name that is known out here in the boxing community to the hardcore fight fans. But when it comes down to his performances, they want both of them to level themselves out. They want his performances to equal the birth of his name. They want both to shine equally. You know what I'm saying? They need both of them to radiate the same. The illumination should go as far as it can in the sport of boxing, but it's not that way though. You know, when it outsources the money aspect of it, fans know that he's making good money. But now what do you want to do? You want to build up yourself and have that appraisal from your fans so they value you just like you value your money. They value you the same like you value your money. There's nothing wrong with Devin Haney making money. Any boxer, it's nothing wrong. I don't pocket watch any fighter. Goddamn, negotiate what you can negotiate, as long as you don't out yourself, or you know what I'm saying, put the price tag too high where people be bailing out and then they give yourself a bad name in boxing. But when it comes down to this equation in lightweight division, we really need to process this shit, dog. Think about this. A lot of you got what you wanted with T.O. It wasn't Devin who did it. It was George. Once again, a lot of you got what you wanted from T.O. You felt that Teofimo was, part of Doug Masters Coalition, which he never had a time to be a part of the Doug Masters Coalition full time. Now, verbal and handshakes don't. All right. So if he would have beat Kambosos and then refused to fight Devin Haney, then it would have been the Duck Masters Coalition pound for pound list for Teofimo Lopez. But unfortunately, George Kambosos defeated Teofimo Lopez. So people got what they wanted. They was real angry at T.O. They was speaking their mind. They was critical. Boom, he's out the picture. He's headed to 140 supposedly, right? So now you have the guy that you was advocating, the champion, the WBC champion, Devin Haney. You have him on stage, the last man standing with the championship belt. T.O. is out the equation. It should be easy. It should be easy from what we witnessed. We witnessed this shit for months and months. Devin Haney, T.O. Devin Haney, going back and forth, back and forth. People advocating for these fighters. Now that T.O.'s out the picture, what should be automatic, dog? It should be automatic that we tighten this up. We tighten this last bolt. We tighten it down. And we lock in George Kambosos versus Devin Haney. That is the right fight to make, y'all. That is the right fight to make. I am a bit, on the edge about boxing when it comes to climactic fights like this, where you have all the plot, you have all the storyline, the backstory, all that shit. You have all the criteria to write a good chapter. One that will resonate with the boxing fans for a long time. And then it's just puppetized. We hear this come out. Eddie Hearn say, Devin Haney be next. And then you get Alexander Usyk, who is absolutely using his influence for Kambosos to fight his good friend Lomachenko. Absolutely. Alexander Usyk don't care nothing about Haney getting this fight. He's there to advocate for his boy, Vasily Lomachenko. Now, people and boxing fans shouldn't take that for any credence, really. You should go off your own thought process and what you know and what you want to happen. You shouldn't say, "Oh, he's a unified champion. I see where he's coming from. His good friend just knocked down Richard Comey, and then went the distance. He's a good guy. This, that, and the other." I'm a bit exhausted at the good guy deal when it comes to Lomachenko, even though I felt he made an extensive amount of excuses in his loss to Teofimo Lopez. But when it comes down to this equation, the hypotenuse of the lightweight division, there's only 3 points to the angles. You have Kambosos, Devin Haney, Lomachenko. When it becomes lineal, it should be Kambosos and Devin Haney. Period. There should be no delirium about this decision, because when it comes down to what makes perfect sense in this fight, it shouldn't be Vasily Lomachenko. You know why I say it shouldn't be Vasily Lomachenko? You want to hear what I have to say, that it shouldn't be Vasily Lomachenko? Because he had his opportunity. I'm being as honest as I can be without being petty and facetious. He had his opportunity when he beat Luke Campbell for the WBC title. He could have very well did what? Stayed the WBC champion and took whatever route he wanted to do, whether it be unified or face an upcoming fighter who potentially would have been his mandatory. If it was Devin Haney, then so be it. But he chose to petition for the franchise belt and fight Teofimo Lopez with no rematch clause and end up with the L. He doesn't deserve that chance and jump the line again. He doesn't deserve that, bro. He doesn't deserve that. He just had it. He just had the opportunity. The shit was all his, and he lost a unification bout for Undisputed. He lost. Lomachenko lost. But when have Devin Haney had the opportunity to make that entry? To split the ropes and go in there and compete for all the crown jewels. When has he had the opportunity in lightweight? He hasn't been provided the opportunity. Lomachenko had the opportunity. T.O. had the opportunity. George Kambosos coming in as an IBF manager, he had the opportunity. The last man standing, why can't he get the opportunity? Why is it you going to continue to say, "Oh, he fought Linares, this happened," and then he fought Jojo Diaz, okay, this happened. But I'm telling you, when are we going to allow the opportunity to present itself and make it as easy as it should be without, once again, we go into a magic show and then the back and forth in the boxing segues. They putting out articles, this, that, and the other, da 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 da, and pretending like this fight is gonna fight that. See what the media is latching on to. Put some polls out there. See what people are saying in the polls. Put some more posts out there. See what the comments are before Kambosos decide. I told you Kambosos was capping his ass off. I told you all that immediately. Now, humanistically, all he's doing is behaving like someone who's in a position of authority for the first time. Kambosos is in a position of glamour. His new profound fame, he doesn't know what to do with it. He's damn near in the same seat Andy Ruiz was. Except Andy Ruiz was a last minute replacement. And George Kambosos winning these titles, he's in the driver's seat, so to speak. He has Devin Haney saying, I'll fight you on Jupiter. I'll fight you in Australia. So therefore, that's out the equation. If you're talking about resistance, Devin Haney say he'll fight him over there in Australia. That's what Kambosos has been talking, right? I'll go to Australia in front of 80,000. So you have two individuals, Lomachenko and Devin Haney, that's willing to go out to Australia and fight Kambosos. Let me get to some of these. Chats, man. Can't ignore the supporters. Boxing plug on deck. How you feel? Salute WCS. Real undisputed. I know Comey is a former world champion, coming off a stoppage win over Jackson Marinez, but Pitbull Cruz and Jojo Diaz are more better than him currently. Comey's style was tailor-made for Loma. I agree with that. Jojo only loss was to Gary Russell Jr. and Pitbull. Cruz went on a huge win streak after suffering a loss early in his career. Loma did look good, but Comey is past his best, which was never a great good at best. Get the smoke on deck. How you feeling, bro? Isaac Pitbull Cruz had won 17 fights straight before losing the Tank. Jojo moved up and beat a formidable Fortuna. Formidable? Okay, Mitch. Meanwhile, Comey was brutally stopped by Tio and had beat an average Jackson Marinez. Agree. True words. Loma has his shot. It's time for Haney to get his shots. True. Franchise champ put him first in line for Haney. He fought Nakatani. Absolutely. I mean, franchise champ put him first in line for Haney. He fought Nakatani. So, are we talking about Teofimo Lopez or are we talking about Devin Haney? Because Tio fought Nakatani before Lomachenko. And Devin Haney hasn't fought Nakatani. So you should be talking about Teofimo Lopez when he became franchise champion. Yes, the divide, the fork in the road, Teofimo could have very well fought, Devin Haney, but also it wouldn't have been for the belts. So therefore, Devin Haney going in there fighting Tio for every belt he had besides the IBF, because he would have had to drop that belt for whatever reason, because he doesn't have to fight Devin Haney as a franchise WBC champion. He doesn't have to at that point in time. So I don't think at all they would be contending for all the belts. I want Kambosos to fight Haney for a real undisputed fight. I'd be disappointed if he doesn't, but beating Loma should land him on the most pound for pound list. Yes, should. Loma versus Kambosos is next. Andrew Charles in the building. How you feeling on deck? What's good with you, Andrew? Powers that be are going to retroactively label Loma versus Coleman a title eliminator for one of those sanctioned bodies. Well, Lomachenko, this is the deal with the mix-up and why I call this boxing game so delirious. It places you in a state of delirium, really. Psychologically degraded to a point where you continue to place yourself in stressful points, following this boxing game because it continued to just play with you. You know what I'm saying? You had them flashes and shit. You know how they say flashbacks? You know, you have those flashing moments. And you know, we use our imagination all the time. But when it comes down to this fight right here, and the fact that they pushing Lomachenko to fight George Kambosos, I think it's extreme prejudice, to be honest. I'm just being honest. I think it's extreme prejudice to the fact that you're not even holding Lomachenko accountable, just like Mitch just said. You're not even holding him accountable for already having an opportunity to fight for the undisputed titles, and he chose not to. But yet, he's facing two common opponents of Teofimo Lopez. One, we should just basically exclude everything that deals with the Nakatani fight because he was coming off two extremely punishing fights with Teofimo Lopez and Felix Verdejo. Not to mention that he had a head injury when he left that fight with Teofimo Lopez. So you send him in there with Lomachenko, he gets stopped. The man was 18-0 when he fought Teo, dropped one, and dropped another one. He ended up coming back on Felix Verdejo. Then he goes in there and fight Richard Comey. And this is where the extreme prejudice comes into play. If it was anybody else that had been smashed in the second round, they would say he's a bum. He ain't nobody. Why he fighting him? Why Devin fighting that guy? Why is he fighting that guy? It makes no sense for him to fight. Teofimo smashed him in 2 rounds. Why the fuck is he fighting him? He ain't no good. Comey's over the hill. But see, Comey, he stops Jackson Mariñez, and everybody just basically eliminates that from their thought process. That shit was archived. They totally eliminate it, erase it. Then they start building up Richard Comey because he's stepping in up with Vasily Lomachenko, and people like Comey. People like Comey. He's a good guy. If you despise a Comey, I don't know why, but you put Lomachenko and Comey together, they start building up the fight. You know what I'm saying? They start giving him all this extra praise because he's stepping there with Lomachenko. Now, a lot of people wasn't giving him that chance to win, but they like who he is as a person. This is not a game of like, or is it? Is this sport a game of like or not? I think it is. This sport drives more on who likes that particular fighter. It's not more so on their skill set and everything else that goes along with it. If this fighter can work himself up the ladder, you know, get to a certain point where they can get a fight with the prominent name that still has, you know, some Wall Street in the sport, and the fans, you know, are attracted to this fighter, they're willing to come out and see him. They're more than likely may get the shot before somebody who has all the credentials and have stepped in there with the quality opposition and everything. This boxing game is crazy, dog. And you know what's making it even more crazy is this franchise belt in the lightweight division. This franchise belt is single-handedly put Devin Haney at the bus stop. He has a carry-on. He has a single carry-on. That carry-on is the WBC title. And he can't seem to catch the train to the next stop and split the ropes and contend for the undisputed titles. He's just there with a carry-on, dog. What is the satisfaction in supporting the sport of boxing when they're always going to take you for a magic show? Look, these cats ain't pulling out rabbits no more from the hat. They pulling out motherfucking double claw hammers and shit. They pulling out hammers and smacking you in the head with it. Dummy, goofy. You got too close to the damn trick. Stop trying to be so desperate trying to find out what we doing next. They're up there pulling out sledgehammers in them up. Pow! They're cracking us upside the head, man, because we up here believing that certain fights are going to happen, and they always take us for a loop. Do you ever take, I don't know how many channels y'all pay attention to, right? But if you look at some of the channels, it's turned into a soap opera because now we're just talking about a theme. We're talking about things. You know what I'm saying? In theory, hypothetical scenarios. It's hard for us to sit up here and really talk about something that's cemented and solid enough that we know it's going to happen. We can't get that because they're always switching it up on us. Cambos is telling the fans, first of all, he told Tio, knowing that he's been talking about moving up, he said he can come back over there for a rematch. Okay, boom, get him out of there. He's not. Then you're telling people that, oh, you don't want the easy fights. Fuck that shit. I want the hard fights. Okay. Yeah. What do you think? Devin Haney next? Yeah. According to how he looks and blah, blah, blah. I told you all right away that Cambos's ass was fucking capping. I don't see Cambos as any more special than Saddam Ali when he had the damn title. I'm being honest. I don't see him any more special than Jeff Horn. I don't see this shit. Are you all forgetting that this dude got off the canvas? How many times are we going to see these other like fighters get off the canvas and people don't say nothing about it? But Devin Haney gets rocked. He gets touched on the chin. Y'all make a big fucking deal of it. I mean, y'all standing on that motherfucker cheering and shit, waving a flag. Do y'all ever take just a pause in following this boxing? Do y'all ever just take a pause, a timeout, and really listen to what we speak on? Like, do we speak on a lot of things that are actual facts? It deals with factoid criteria that we source out here online. I'm talking about leading up to a fight. Is there any factoids that we can basically catalog and we can speak on that we know is going to happen? Is there any point in time where us, the boxing community, the media, is there anything that we can put in prior to that we know that's going to happen for sure? Besides everybody up here talking about, yeah, I talked to so-and-so. They told me this is going to happen. Oh, I talked to so-and-so. This is going to happen. And then come out, it's something totally different. Have you ever took a pause and realized that a lot of what has been said out here is just an opinionated narrative, a storyline that voices are pushing to keep relevant their fighters that they support heavy? That's all it is. It's just opinionated narratives that's placed out here. It's almost like looking at a soap opera all the time. You know what I'm saying? This has soap opera etiquette written all over at this point in time with boxing. If you just sit back and listen to everybody speak on boxing, either for one, they're speaking about something that happened in the past, or they're projecting their opinions as to something they want to see happen in the future. They have no indication as to the validity of that happening. They're only forecasting it because the damn topic sounds good and they can pretty much speak on it. And they hope when they elaborate in front of their audience, it does what? It persuades them to be interested. Hit the like button, drop the super chats, hit the like button, drop the super chats, like button. You know, that's what it turns into. A solicitation of services. So with that solicitation, you have to come up with storylines. It's becoming now to a point where you can look at what's going on YouTube and individuals are just storytelling. The thumbnails, they create a theme. They create a story. They want you to cognitively put that thumbnail together as to what they're going to talk about. Wherever that thumbnail may be. That's where we at right here. If you look at what we doing on YouTube with thumbnails and you see what the mainstream, they don't do that. You never see them do that. They never are out here acting like it's art class or none of that. They just put a thumbnail of the fighter and they place the article out there. YouTube is thumbnail city. You have storytelling going on. You have some truth to the information and a lot of falsities being passed with pushing bias ass narratives. You know what I'm saying? Something that doesn't have credibility to it. It's just because that those individuals that tune in to certain channels, they believe they're telling the truth all the time. So they can pretty much make up what they want. But what we should be talking about is how we're going to create a solid, definitive conclusion to convince the boxing fans that Devin Haney should be next for George Kambosos. That's all we want. We're not really talking about Jermell Charlo and Brian Castano. We're not really talking about that shit. Yes, we do chit chatter. Imagine how many stories on YouTube. There are thousands of stories about Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. That shit is so far in the stars. So far up in the stratosphere, man. But the one fight we have that's extremely close, that needs a push, you know what I'm saying? We need to push this Devin Haney. And like some people say, the real undisputed, okay? I'm not going to sit up here and debate what the real undisputed is. You already know my stance on that. But let's just say the real undisputed. The hashtag real undisputed is and does have a lot of truth to it. Because what's presiding with it is the fact that whoever wins that fight, whether it be Kambosos, whether it be Devin Haney, they clean house. They are done. They have wiped the slate. They have did everything possible to be considered the grand poobah of lightweight division. They are indeed the last man standing. So with that said, Devin Haney wins. He can say, okay, I'm gonna decide. I'm gonna defend my titles. I'm gonna get another big paycheck. What's next, Eddie? What's next? Tell me what's next, Eddie. I beat Kambosos. Who's next? How can I get another big fight? And then he get to pick and choose another big payday before moving up to 140. But for me, I would suggest that Haney don't stay down to 135 too long. If he's able to get those titles, first of all, if he's able to get his foot in the door, I don't even want to take this down to a whole nother road of Kambosos choosing Lomachenko over Devin Haney. Because in my opinion, that would be unfair. And we all know boxing don't deal with fairness. That's a forbidden word right there. Boxing don't fucking deal with fairness. Who gives a fuck about that? Loma has approximately 1 minute and 34 seconds left in the round after he hurt and dropped Comey. Couldn't stop the guy. Should have stopped the guy. Doing all that front, yelling at the Comey's corner. Yeah, he was putting on a show, wasn't he? Stop the fight. Stop the fight. I'm going to hurt him. Man, shut the fuck up. And when y'all see these individuals in here dropping this bot, y'all need to really, time their ass out. Miss say, by the way, I think Loma beats Kambosos. I think Haney outboxes Kambosos. I think Tank murders Kambosos. I think all three of what you said beat Kambosos, in my opinion. Even though people are not giving Devin Haney an opportunity, a chance, I truly believe he beat Kambosos because all he has to do is fight a smart fight. You know, I don't look at Kambosos as being this extremely powerful puncher. I don't. I just look at the way Teofimo Lopez entry into the first round with him just being extremely erratic in his behavior, not really caring and giving a damn about being defensively minded and just going out there getting caught early. You look at him. He went back on the glove. He went back on his glove. And then again, Kambosos never earned another knockdown again the whole fight. He himself was dropped. You know what I'm saying? Teofimo was by a very hard right hand, and all he did was just drop back on a glove. Man, come on now. And y'all want to say Cambosis is this power puncher? Stop it. Stop it, man. Hold on for a second. Okay, we back at it. Um, let's see. You call it opinionated narrative. I call it BS. Yeah, opinions can be considered BS because, everybody has one. You know what I'm saying? Just like they basically they referred to doorknobs and shit back in the day. Some still do, but you're right. Some people basically call it BS, but a more articulated term, not to offend anybody, would say it's opinionated narratives. You know what I'm saying? I wonder who Australians are interested in seeing Cambosis fight. Um, I've been assuming they would roll out the red carpet for him. By him, I mean Loma. Listen, I told you what I learned by being in New York. All right, I'm gonna break this down two ways. You hear what Eddie Hearns is saying. This is what Eddie Hearns is saying. Eddie Hearns is putting it out there that um hold on for a second. That Devin Haney may potentially get this fight. It's only right. Lomachenko shouldn't get this fight. He shouldn't even be in line to get this fight. But then you hear Devin Haney worry, asking fans to push for Cambosis fight for Undisputed. I found nothing wrong with that. I know they're trying to make it seem like he's begging, pleading, or whatever the case may be. But it's good that if he is asking for his fans to support him or whatever, I think that's awesome. I think that's good because now it's another way for them to connect with Devin Haney. But with Eddie Hearns is giving us the impression that this fight is going to happen. Eddie Hearns is giving us that impression. He's giving us that impression that this is a solid 1-2. That's what he's giving us the impression of. But yet, I'm in NYC. I'm talking to the man. They know the man, Cambosis. And he's telling me different. I say, tell me straight up. I want to know about this damn three-way. He said, we going with the most money. We're going with the most money. I said, so tell me, explain, elucidate, please. What do you mean most money? Because Eddie Hearn most money now. But what are you talking about the most money? Do you talking about fanfare? When it comes to Lomachenko Cambosis, you think Lomachenko in the ring with Cambosis is going to do more? You're going to get paid more than Haney? So that is where we at right now. Because when I asked specifically, were they planning on, is Haney a lock? I didn't get that confirmation. And I can't go any deeper than who I was talking to. And on everything. I wanted to record this individual. He said, "No, I don't want to be interviewed. None of that. You can talk to this person." I said, "No problem." But I said, "Let's carry on the conversation, though." I said, "Well, what we looking at right here with this 3-way, because excluding Javante, is Devin Haney in the front runner for this?" He said, "We going with the most money." I say, "So does Lomachenko entice you more than Devin Haney?" And they were saying, "Well, having conversations with Kambosos, he's going to have to make a decision. He really wanted to take a look at Vasily Lomachenko this weekend, but they couldn't have him out there because he had been on this Jam Championship press tour, and I guess they was trying to say they didn't want to burn him out. But I saw him in the gym, so I don't know what the hell that was about. Anyway, he wasn't in NYC. They was right about that, but I did see him recently, in the gym. So what I think is Kambosos is definitely going to have a fight in the first semester of 2022. There's a lot of people pushing this Lomachenko fight, like Devin and Bill is trying to get them to push for Haney versus damn Kambosos. You know what I'm saying? I don't understand it. Like a lot of these channels that I was seeing advocating for Devin Haney or Tio, now that Tio's out the picture, I don't see that support. I don't see the push in the back. I don't see the megaphone effect. I don't see any ferociousness. People are echoing Devin Haney absolutely fight Kambosos. I don't see the volume like it was. I'm not saying no one, okay? But I don't see the volume that he should be getting. He should be up here with a megaphone of support on YouTube to get this fight with Kambosos, just like it was with every time you turn around with Tio. People's talking about Tio. He should fight Devin. He should fight Devin. J Ocho in the chat. He should fight Devin. There ain't no other fight besides Devin. Okay, cool. Tio loses the belt. I would say J Ocho keeping the same energy though. Devin should still get the fight. But now the tune has changed because people don't have a reason to dislike Kambosos. They don't have a reason. You know why? Because he's more of the savior, y'all. They treating Kambosos more the savior for taking out Tio. So in reality, you would think if Tio was losing the titles, they will automatically pump that, generate that energy even that much higher for Devin Haney to get Kambosos. But yet, the fair weather boxing fans and what they have been able to accomplish transparently was praise Kambosos for taking out the so-called villain in Teofimo Lopez and allow him now to say, oh, well, he took out Teofimo Lopez, so therefore he gets to be selective on if he wants to fight Lomachenko or Devin Haney. He has that right, people. He has that right. He defeated Tio. He has that right. But when it was Tio defeating Lomo, they was like, man, you got to fight Devin. You got to fight Devin. Now that Tio don't have the belt, they're like, no. Kambosos, you have to give him full credit. He was the mandatory. He shocked the boxing community. He deserves the right to select between Lomachenko and Haney. I said, but what about the conversation that was going on between Teofimo and Haney before that? Now that Tio's out the picture, she'll automatically slide in Haney, right? No. Motherfuckers making up excuses now, dog, including Kambosos. Kambosos up there saying he got to see what he looked like. And Devin asked him, like, what the fuck you talking about, nigga? That's the only thing he didn't say. Why I gotta look a certain way for your ass? This your first time in the slot. I was champion on this motherfucker. But Kambosos is pretty much putting a disclaimer out there, people, that he has more belts. He's in the driver's seat. You didn't hear him say that? That's what Kambosos is putting out there to the people. He's in the driver's seat. Believe that shit. If Eddie could do his part to pull this off, I might give him the bare minimum of respect. L foul player in the building. What's going with you? What's going on with you there? Kambosos and Tio were both being called ducks on Sunday. But they're not bringing the heat, dog. We need that volcano heat now. You know, Tio, he was getting that type of heat where, you know, it's generated off someone's presence. Somebody walk up to you, they say, oh shit, it's about to come. Boom. He gets that body heat. You know, people, you getting that body heat, people up here pressing and pressing. Hey man, when you think you're gonna fight Devin Haney, man? You gonna fight Devin Haney? Yeah, oh yeah. Him and his pops. Hey, senior, you think Lopez gonna fight Haney, man? That's the only fight to make, man. You know what's going on? Are y'all gonna make that choice? Or y'all gonna sit up here and fight Kambosos? Kambosos is a nobody. He's a bum. He's this, that, and none. Don't nobody know Kambosos. And I guess they became so agitated that they purposely chose Kambosos because Tio, once again, he assumed that Kambosos would be an easier fight. And then furthermore, he was being spiteful in the process, not to give Haney a chance to step in there with the title. For real talk. Real talk. So he chose Kambosos because he thought it was going to be an easier fight. He put no rematch clause in there. And, you know, he thought it was going to be Gippy. And then it turned to iffy. And then it ended shitty. So it worked all bad. But I'm just saying this should be volcano heat coming. This should be shit that's goddamn from the spout. Motherfuckers landing on motherfuckers' head. Just a little piece of volcano ash be landing on motherfuckers' head and shit. Burning the shit out of that. Haney. Okay? Okay, goddamn, you didn't have to do that shit. Who's supposed to go there? Okay, Devin, he should fight George Kambosos. You gonna pay for my medical? I'm serious, dog. It should be motherfucking volcano heat coming down this bitch, y'all. Instead of us being up here feeling delirious about this shit. I'm not gonna lie, man. You know, sometimes like I don't sit up here and study boxing primarily in one combat sport. You already know that. But I see like it's so many topics to read in mixed martial arts. It's such a plethora of information on stuff that's going on about mixed martial arts. I'm not lying to you. Like mixed martial arts, you can find news about a lot of events that's taking place all over globally about mixed martial arts. Like, and they be very interesting fights too. You know what I'm saying? Fighters. Very interesting fighters. But with boxing, they pretty much talk about the big names and the big names only and the up and comers. Like Charles Conwell out of Ohio. You don't hear too many articles on these boxing scenes and Boxing News 24 and all these places talking about him. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're not fighting on the big stage, then you're not going to get any airtime. You know what I'm saying? Of course, John Bowser is getting his run of the mill. You know what I'm saying? He did what he had to do this weekend. So he's getting his press play, you know, just a little bit for a couple more, I'll say about 72 more hours. And then people are going to go back to what they was doing. I want y'all to understand something. That should prove to you that someone positioned of Michael Williams Jr. that had me fought for a world title, just because I was pushing him out here on YouTube, it really turned into something big. A lot of people found out about this fight from John Bowser's side and from Michael Williams' side. That's the way boxing should be. Regardless of the results, that's how boxing should be. And that's where we at right now with Bill requesting for us to support Devin Haney. But it's quite difficult because Devin Haney is considered, you know, the top echelon of the lightweight division. So his critique is much more scrutinized than a Michael Williams Jr. He has the Haney brand. He has big names up there in comparison. The Lomachenkos, Gervontas, you know what I'm saying? Kambosos ain't in that picture. I ain't apologizing either. Kambosos is not in the picture, Gervonta. He's not. He cracked Teofimo with early in the fight. How earlier does it have to be for you to crack your opponent and land a solid punch? And that's all you got from Teo? That's all you got, bro? You got a flash knockdown? That shit was the same as Floyd Mayweather Zab Judah, bro. When Zab Judah clipped Floyd Mayweather and his glove touched the canvas slightly, just like Sean Porter. But I give it a bit more harmless effect than Sean Porter because his eyes was rolling back in his head and shit, and his glove barely touched the ground. But with Teo, he fell back on the glove and got up. But then as the fight went along, when he knocked Kambosos down, Kambosos was doing the damn Anthony Joshua challenge on all fours, bro. You know I'm not lying. He was on all fours, bro. Lesser known fighters in boxing are automatically given the label of a bum, but some of them more than capable of reigning on a lot of these so-called stars parade. True, they absolutely, that is true. But see, that's a perfect example there, Andrew, if it comes down to a person like Isaac Cruz. Isaac Cruz is a perfect analogy to blend in with Gervonta Davis' stardom and then having somebody come out of nowhere to replace Rolly Romero and to be considered a star is born. That's the exact frame that we can put into what you just mentioned. That's a perfect example right there with Isaac Cruz. Isaac Cruz has never hurt like that. He never touched the canvas. You know, people, you know, he lived up to the Pitbull name. I like the kid before he even fought Gervonta. I liked his style, but I don't put him up there in the top 5. You know what I'm saying? I truly believe Isaac Cruz would have problems with Kambosos. Kambosos is at a point right now where he probably isn't entirely sure that he can defend those titles. But he want to make the most money in case he doesn't. Who's he's gonna pick? And who can bring that attraction over there to Australia? Now, I can make my own assumption, y'all. But I just want the fight fans to push for the fight. Push for the US boxer. You know, push for Devin Haney to get this fight because he does have the WBC title. He does have that belt. So, you know, sit up here and advocate and be forceful to get him into that damn ring. Well, first of all, to get his name into the room for negotiation purposes to fight Kambosos. I really think the boxing community would be that much happier if Haney Kambosos was going down. Right now, they're not really talking about it. They just want shit to play out a little bit. But once the fight materializes and the names are signed, I believe if Haney and Kambosos fight, people are going to have something to talk about that they're going to feel good. It's going to be appetizing and people are going to soak it all in. They're going to say, damn, I feel great. I feel great about this fight. You know why? Because now we have an opportunity to solve this lightweight dilemma. We have an opportunity to see it all play out right in front of our eyes. Whoever wins, and I'm hoping that, you know, Devin Haney doesn't sit up here and sustain his word on not wanting the franchise belt. If you don't want it, goddamn trash that shit after you get it. Who cares? But take from them everything and give them nothing. Take it, goddammit. Petition for the franchise. Fuck all this. Listen to all these black people talking about, oh, franchise, this, that, and the other. Man, take everything on the table. Every freaking crumb. Don't leave him with shit to brag about. Don't leave him with shit, dog. If we're gonna do it all the way correct. But first, we have to push for this fight as I don't see the push any longer. I see some people switching over the kind of, wanna praise George Kambosos for taking out the villain. So now that he's considered the premature savior, now Devin Haney takes a backseat again because they're finding every which way possible not to give him that genuine love as a boxer. And to the Haney's defense, it's not like Bill ain't out here running these YouTube streets and he out here getting it in and promoting his son. But it comes down to people look at them as having money already. People look at their fluency. And then they say, oh, he'll get it where he get it. They look at Kambosos. He going to say, oh, what a story. Oh, these Americans always talking about getting it out the mud. Oh, I assure you, Kambosos got it from the outback. He used to go out there and forage for his own food with a bow and arrow. I mean, one from Walmart. You know what I'm saying? That shit, son, he used to fight. I seen it with my own eyes. He was fighting a kangaroo with his bare hands. It had to be 500 pounds. And Kambosos was digging to the body. They come up with all these crazy ass, hyped up storylines and shit to boost Kambosos up as if he ain't never had shit in life. You know what I'm saying? But people don't get that from the Haneys because they making money and they living the way they living. So some people mad. Once again, I don't pocket watch. Whatever they make is what they make. I've never been jealous of anybody that had more money than me. T.O. took a while to come back mentally from the knockdown. It shocked him. I mean, it's according to what state in, Andrew. I believe he was in a different state of mind. He was under the influence of something. I'm just saying, he didn't look right. Real talk. Haney Kambosos would be a great matchup. Kambosos might go in there thinking he can me. Yeah, go ahead. Go in there with all that arrogance, build that egotistical stature that you built, that you've earned, so to speak, coming off that Teofimo. Go ahead and do that shit, dog. Haney will go in there knowing this the fight he been waiting for his whole life. Yeah, he'll have to basically seize every bit of this moment and don't give a fuck of what anybody else said about his Linares or Jojo Diaz fight. Go in there and fight your fight. And the ultimate goal that Haney is having should have. The ultimate goal is the mission accomplishment to win all the fucking titles. That's it. Fuck with all the people saying, if they get criticism, man, just do what you do. All you trying to get is the fight. You're trying to get the shit signed. You're trying to let that ink dry. You're trying to get paid accordingly and then step in the ring. That's it. That's the entire goal, people. It don't get any simpler than that. You know what I'm saying? Get the motherfucking fight. That's all. Get the fight. I just don't have a clear picture on when boxing is gonna start treating us with some dignity. You know what I'm saying? When boxing, which isn't is we can't assume that boxing is a single entity. Boxing is a sport, but you would think of all the people that's competing in the sport of boxing, it will have much more cohesiveness to it. It doesn't. It's bits and pieces of boxing everywhere. It's just sprinkles. It's like broken glass. It's no head of the snake in boxing. There's many snakes, but it's not one part of the leadership role that we can go to in boxing and voice our disagreements, concerns, or any of that. It's nobody running boxing. Everybody's just out here in the wild, wild west doing what the fuck they want to do. And that's why a lot of people get disturbed about why boxing hit the depths of hell during the pandemic. Like it had no direction during the pandemic in 2020. No direction. Like boxing with the UFC leading and having freaking shows without audience and shit. Boxing was still up here. Nope, we're not gonna do it. We're not. Why? You should be the front runner of sports. You shouldn't have no fear. You should take the lead. You should walk with a vengeance and say, you know what? I'm walking towards this. I'm gonna figure it out as I go along. People telling me no, but I'm gonna find a way to make this shit happen. There's no way that boxing should have been in such a damn vulnerable position during the pandemic. Like they really had no plan B because it's not a unity. You know, boxing is not a union. Boxing is an umbrella for individuals to compete under. That's it. There's no authoritarian. There's no commander in chief. There's nobody to organize this shit to make the final decision. Because we wouldn't be having these conversations once again about who should fight for the lightweight, undisputed, so to speak, the real undisputed. It should be something handed down. Boom. I supersede this, and this fight has happened. George Kambosos is fighting Devin Haney, and that's final. We voted on it, and it's final. We need that in boxing. If you get that in boxing, the sport becomes more difficult. You can't play around no more. The best will end up fighting the best, and we'll get much more of an entertainment value throughout the year. That's what the hell we need right there, shawty, for real. But we have nobody at the top. There's no one at the highest spear that has that authority, dog. Oh, that's unfortunate, man. That's unfortunate. Teal was under the influence of his own false confidence. I think it was more of a something more than that. All right. I think it was something in the blood. You know what I'm saying? It was something in the blood. For real. Boxing was damn near dead when the pandemic BS started. Yes, sir. And why is that? How can a sport that's been around longer than mixed martial arts been sanctioned and regulated? Boxing was sanctioned and regulated way before that. How can that sport take the lead during the pandemic to start having fighters compete and get paid? And boxing's up here figuring out, well, I'm not going to do it. I don't think it's safe. They're afraid. They're afraid. You know what I'm saying? They're afraid to put on boxing matches. I mean, you created the bubble, right? We had what was considered the bubble. Thank God that shit was burst. That shit is gone. God damn, that was the worst. That bubble shit was the absolute worst when it came to damn trying to get an interview with a fighter. Oh, no. Say, amigo. No interview today, amigo. The bubble. The bubble. Yes, we got to stay in the bubble. I'll talk to you after the fight, though. No, you won't. No, you won't. I'm saying that there's no reason why boxing shit was at a standstill. And also, just a year like removed, right? We're about to head out of the post year of the pandemic, heading into 22. And just think about this. Let this sit on your thought process right to this evening. Are we any more advanced in trying to understand what's going to happen in 2022 with these fights? Is there anything that's clear? Is there a clear picture as to some of these big fights we're looking for in 2022? I'm not saying fights aren't taking place already and we don't have, certain fights. Like just say, for instance, Richardson Hitchens is facing Malik Hawkins, the Iceman. It took a while for Malik Hawkins to return back to the sport after he took his first loss from Subriel Matias. So now he's stepping in there with Richardson Hitchens. Is anybody bragging and boasting about that? No. Do I like the fight? Yes, I do. I do. I had the opportunity to, see both fighters fight several times already in person. And I interviewed both fighters. But no one's really talking about that. And Hitchens, it's not like he's not doing anything. It's just Hitchens, he doesn't do anything to promote himself. Neither does Malik Hawkins. And people are just going to see this fight as it plays out. It's unfortunate. But as far as big fights next year, yeah, we had a fantasy fight. People up here doing thumbnails. Yeah, we're going to see Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence next year. It's going to happen. And look, we supposed to dangle our emotions on a zip line, heading into 2022. We supposed to zip line into 2022. Hey, here I come. What I'm looking forward to. That brick wall right there. Pow. There's no fights. Where are the big fights? Where are the big fights we're looking forward to? Jamel Charlo, Brian Castano? What are we looking for? The rematch between Oleksandr Usyk and Joshua? Fury and whoever he's fighting? What are we really looking forward to? Canelo Alvarez vacating his belts and moving up and fight Makabu at cruiserweight? Are we looking for that? You know what I'm saying? What are the big name fights that we looking for? That's the biggest question. Will we get to see Boots Ennis fight a top tier name in 22? Will Boots Ennis, who is the talk of the town right now, will he have his breakout fight? If Canelo Alvarez indeed vacate the 168-pound super middleweight titles, will those individuals shift accordingly up a division to try to fight for those super middleweight titles, right? And then, the 60s move up to 68, the 50s to the 54s to 60s, the 47 54s, and then the 40s to 47. Will it happen? That's what we need. We need a shift. We need a change in the guard to mix it up a little bit. We have that damn 154-pound division sitting real nice right now. We have the 147-pound division sitting real nice. But guess what? It'll be good if we have to change another guard. We can get this Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford situation gone, and send Errol Spence in there to get this ass whooping, and so he can move up to 154 pounds. What are we waiting on? Time is a ticking. Real talk. Time is a ticking, dude. I'm not sold on Crawford Spence in 22. I know that much. Think I made that clear. We'll see though. Yeah, I don't think we sold on that shit. You know what I'm saying? James on deck. What's good, bro? L-Dub on deck. What's good? Boot should fight someone like Conor Ben and Ellis. Stylistically and showmanship wise, I like that. But when Conor Ben's language is Adrian Broner, then I just paid no mind. I paid no mind. Conor Ben is mentioning Adrian Broner. Once again, you know it. You've seen it. He's mentioning Adrian Broner, dog. Why, bro? What is wrong with you? What is wrong, dog? I don't think Conor Ben is ready for Boots Ennis. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think he's ready, dog. When he's up here calling out a freaking Adrian Broner, I would want to see him fight a Mikey Garcia before Adrian Broner. I'm just gonna be honest. I'd rather Mikey bring his ass back up there to 47, whatever he got going on, and put a Mikey Garcia on your record. Just like freaking Yordenis Ugas was able to get Manny Pacquiao. Put that shit on your record. Virgil Ortiz. You think Conor Ben ready for Virgil Ortiz? That'd be a good fight. I mean, I truly believe that both of those fighters would be a good fight. But once again, the primary storyline is everybody's talking about Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford. That is the primary storyline when it comes down to it. All the scenario stories it's extremely embedding. You listen to the same shit over and 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 over again. The same shit. Who said this? Who said that? Who said this? Who gives a fuck? Tell me when the fight is being signed. Talk about who said this time. Who said this? Okay, Keith Thurman. Okay, Keith Thurman is coming back. Who we ha ha. Good. Really. People forget that Keith Thurman was a unified champion. He was one time at one time. You know what I'm saying? So now he's talking about coming back. People have to really process this, right? If Keith Thurman took the time in his career to get married, for whatever reason that was, that is more important than the sport at that time. Because as a man, you have to make that decision. Like, we don't know how deep in love Keith Thurman was. We don't know how many hours it took him to fall in love with his wife. I don't know. They fell in love pretty quickly. But who am I to criticize that man and what he believed his heart is telling him? His heart is saying he's in love. I'm going to take time off and get married. You feel me? Who are we to be selfish enough to say, well, he was up there getting married and shit and all that? What's wrong with that, man? I hope it lasts. Shit. Because this day and time, marriage don't mean shit to a lot of people. So I really hope Keith Thurman was up there, had me going, when he was in there with his wife or whatever. He took the appropriate time and chilled with his newly married spouse. There's nothing wrong with him taking away from the sport to handle family business, to handle his girl, because I wouldn't give a fuck about what none of y'all said. If it was me and I found that love and I know that was the one and I took time away from the sport, then it's my decision. People just criticizing Keith because of the layoff he's had. The man had, injuries, and then he finally came back and was dropped by Pacquiao, the older fighter, lost the fight, split decision. So therefore, people should give him a little bit of credit for finally coming back. But the conversation is what more transpired between who he was ducking. Who gives a fuck who he was ducking? We don't care. All we want to know is, okay, is Errol Spencer Crawford going to fight anytime damn soon? If Keith Thurman's going to fight, who is it going to be? Okay, cool, kudos. That's all we want to know. We don't want to know the storylines, the soap operas. It's good for boredom. When you're bored, you can create a storyline for them to over and over and over again. Errol Spence fans are going to continue to speak big on him, but Crawford fans are going to speak big on Bud. It's going to go back and forth, back and forth. It's going to have debates back and forth about who's who, this, that, and the other. It's so repetitive. But we going, like I said, we're ziplining in 2022 with no real solid information to confirm that these two are going to fight in 2022. I'm just being honest with you. I'm throwing Ben to the wolves. Now, Ben trying to build that shit up. Boot's going to be at 160 soon. He is. But you know what should happen? Check this out with Boot Sanders. Boot Sanders, hopefully he can get the title at 47 and then move to 54. Because if indeed, Canelo vacates, it should be a shift. Them Charlo should move up. All right? Because he has that fight coming up with Brian Castano. It depends on who gets it done. Boom. They should vacate, move the fuck up. So if we get Canelo vacating at 68, we get Charlo vacating at 54, right? It'll really give us some fresh names at 160. Just give us some fresh faces. We're tired of those old antiquated faces at 160. Maul Charlo's been there forever. Yola Murata has been sitting on the island somewhere for 5 years. You know what I'm saying? Still haven't been stripped of the title. Triple G, he's at the motherfucking store being fitted for a walker. You know what I'm saying? They fight fell out. He only gets older after that. And then, of course, it's been talk of Demetrius Andrade moving up to 68 to become WBO mandatory. Well, the same thing is being said about Lomachenko. Lomachenko is somehow trying to finesse his way to the WBO. Now, this is way with the WBO. Not in the ring with Kambosos. I'm away from boxing. Many reasons. Because it comes to a point where Team Hain has to point in time. They're not giving them the utmost respect. IBF, when he was going to fight a title eliminator with Masayoshi Nakatani, right? If they allow Lomachenko, who's coming off this, to get pulled up to be a mandatory for Kambosos, and he gets the shot before Devin, you can't keep on going to what ifs. You can't say, okay, let's wait to Lomachenko. What happens with this fight with Kambosos? Okay, wait. Now, you want to see if whoever wins that. Let's just say Lomachenko. Hope Lomachenko. I'll fight you, Lomachenko. And then Lomachenko pick somebody else, dog. It's very frustrating. It's very frustrating. You have to pick or choose. You're still a champion. If they keep Devin Haney at the bus station and they allow Lomachenko to get this undisputed fight, I will move the fuck on. Go up there and start your damn life, your boxing life, the next chapter at 140. Fuck it. I'm tired of these motherfuckers blacklisting me. Fuck it. I'm out. I'm tired of this shit. This ain't no motherfucking car wash. Nigga, you ain't pulling up and I'm spraying shit on your windshield and wiping it down. No, you driving the car up. They looking at your shit like that's the way it's supposed to be. Oh shit. Damn, that motherfucker nice. Let me take my time with this shit. It's not the other way around. So they want to keep him posted. And they keeping hope alive. I don't think that's the process. Then it's very, very considerably perceived as being desperate if Devin Haney them choose to stay here at 35 if they give Lomachenko this motherfucking fight with Kambosos. I think I'm gonna just take some time away from boxing because I don't like the bullshit. You know, but let's be positive. Y'all continue to support and goddamn put the word out there. You know, for the Haneys to get this shot. I understand that a lot of fighters have ducked him. I understand that he's in a lot of words being blacklisted right now. Seriously, I do believe what I'm seeing, every point of my visual. You know what I'm saying? Because if he wasn't, then when his name pop up with somebody like Kambosos, people would use him as an identifier, a WBC identifier, to get the next shot at all the titles Kambosos is holding. That's only fucking right, dog. This boxing game is a cruel, cruel asylum, bro. It's cruel. This is a cruel asylum, man. That shit will destroy you mentally if you take this shit serious. I'm not saying the boxing as a sport isn't serious, but what we supposed to consider it to be as far as certain fighters fighting, you know, the best fighting the best and so forth, what we expect, what's supposed to happen in the sport, we expecting these things to happen. You continue to get let down with disappointment if you really put serious effort. Now, once again, the sport as a competitive action, I take serious because it's a tough sport. It's a hurt business. But when it comes to The overlay of boxing and us looking at all the ranking systems and we knowing all these names out here and we're going up here vouching and we're advocating for these people and we're really putting forth the effort to get our voices out there for this particular fight. It seems like nobody cares. YouTube isn't making any fights. Really. YouTube isn't making any fights, dog. I'm throwing Ben to the wolves. Why that? I like Ben, man. You know, his whole persona, you know, inked up. I don't know how he got all that ink, dog, but motherfucker inked up and he's a showman. You know what I'm saying? He's a motherfucking showman. Showman with Adrian Granados. You got the Samuel Vargas. You know, you have the Chris Algieri. You know, it's time for him to step up too. No fucking Adrian Broner for a paycheck. Now, he might feel some type of way about it. He might like Adrian Broner to give him opportunity, a gate to go ahead and make a paycheck. You know what I'm saying? That happens. You know, Floyd Mayweather did it for Andre Berto. Don't act like he didn't give him a shot. He know he was gonna beat that ass. He gave Andre Berto a shot. You know what I'm saying? He gave Andre Berto a shot. For real. Don't act like Floyd didn't give gifts. He came bearing gifts to certain fighters he was in the ring with, especially Conor McGregor. Come on, man. Hey, but y'all, man, that's my time. That's what it is. You know? Oh, shit. Let me check one more thing before I go. I think it's one thing I was missing out here. Okay, my boy Rolly. All right, let me close out with this. Rolly Romero, who allegedly had all these sexual allegations pending that pretty much voided him for fighting Gervonta Davis, which would have been the biggest paycheck of his career. He's been on Haney hard. All right, he's been on Devin Haney very, very hard. Right. So a lot of people are not talking about Rolly because they placing him on the sidelines because of, you know, all the allegations that was coming out. But he hasn't been locked up or anything. But he's out now saying, once again, he's saying that Devin Haney is the weakest link among the champions in the division and not having the great talent. So what I say to Rolly is, wasn't you the WBA interim title holder? You had the interim championship. Then you weren't you blessed with Jackson Mariñez, bro? Then you clearly lose that fight. So the crazy part about Rolly Romero is that if Rolly started really calling out Devin Haney, they'll forget about Kambosos. And they'll say, oh shit, that's gonna be a tough fight for Devin. Yeah, he's supposed to fight Gervonta. Put him in there with Devin. They would do that shit. They will redirect focus away from Kambosos. If Rolly really started to call out Devin Haney, they say, oh, Devin should get that smoke. He should get that smoke. No. Rolly is saying that Devin is the weakest lightweight. It's only 2 championship holders right now. It's Kambosos and Haney. So if you want to do half, you want to half that and say that Haney is the damn weakest. Well, guess what? Sign the dotted line. Get Kambosos to sign the dotted line so you can hopefully get your shot. If Haney pulls out, you know, and wins this damn undisputed bout. He said the 24-year-old unbeaten Rolly, 14-0 now, 14-0, 12 knockouts, seems to be on a mission to knock the proud Haney 27-0, 15 knockouts off his high horse to humble him. Haney 23 has been given a major push by promoter Eddie Hearns to give him a lucrative fight against undisputed lightweight champion George Kambosos. I really didn't want to read y'all the whole article. I just want to read what Rolly feels that Haney 23 is the weakest of the belt holders at 135 now. And he feels he doesn't have longevity as a champion due to his lack of power and style of fighting. All right. That's Rolly. Rolly says Haney is too aggressive for his weak frame and low power level. They say Rolando feels that the combination of Haney's weak power and overly aggressive fighting style means trouble ahead for the Matchroom promoted fighter. Devin is the weakest link, and I really do feel bad for him, said Rolly on social media. He's going to fall, and it's going to hurt worse than anything. So once again, Rolly Romero, who hasn't proven anything, is pretty much denigrating Devin Haney for what he considers to have no power as a boxer, right? But clearly, Jackson Mariñez, who isn't a heavy hitter, outboxed Rolly Romero prior to Rolly receiving a gift, a robbery. You know what I'm saying? So if Jackson Mariñez, a fighter that doesn't possess this acute power, then why do you not believe that Devin can go in there and outbox Rolly Romero? Now, it's going to be a rough, rugged fight. Absolutely. That's what Rolly comes with. It's going to be a rough, rugged fight. But once again, you're talking about Devin can clearly outbox Rolly Romero. If he gets back to his defensive stilo and he doesn't stand there in the pocket and get touched up like he was doing in the Jojo Diaz fight, he can absolutely outbox Rolly. It's just going to come to a point when Rolly gets frustrated if he's going to try a dirty tactic and, run an elbow across Devin and try to cut him. You know the shit Rolly be doing, that doghouse shit. Rolly goes on to say some very derogatory comments about it. He said because it's not his fault that he was born with fucked up genetics, said Rolly on why he feels bad for Haney. His lack of power, his fragile body frame, his weak legs, and he's ugly as fuck. When I look at guys who really talk about the way a guy look like that, ugly, you call another dude ugly, there might be some jealousy in there because people can look at Rolly and say that I think that that's Rolly right there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, what the fuck are you talking about? He goes on to say he's just as ugly as fuck and weak as fuck with no power. Devin Haney, they try really hard with that kid and they can't promote him. Did you see that shit? I'm telling you, Devin has no power and no chin, and he's aggressive. That's a very scary combination to fight against a puncher. If you have no chin, no power, and you're aggressive, you're going to get knocked out by any puncher. I'm sorry to say, said Rolando. So what I'm taking from this, he has nothing positive to say about the boxing skills of Devin Haney, and he's pretty much assuming, you know what I'm saying, that the outcome would be futile for Devin Haney up the line. You know what I'm saying? If he isn't smart. The one thing about it, Rolly Romero, he's trying to chomp at the bit and get a fight with Devin Haney while he's criticizing the man. You know what I'm saying? He's being very, very critical. He's basically taking his emphasis off Gervonta Davis, who had already fought, which he didn't get to fight for whatever reason. And now he's projecting that at Devin Haney. If you say he has no power, no chin, and you go in there and lose to him, I don't know what you're going to do, man. You know what I'm saying? You're going to do voiceovers for The Simpsons?
Hey, March. March. Come here, March. Come here. Yeah, this is Rolly. Yeah. Come.
I mean, come on, Rolly. Don't let me start going in on you, bro. You want to be criticizing the way people look, man. Dude. Who the fuck told you to come out there in that chinchilla like you was damn the Don Juan? Somebody set you up for failure. They goddamn warm your ass up on that hot day with a chinchilla, only to damn cook your ass out the door and say, sit your ass over there and thaw. Cool down a little bit. I know you're sweating from that heavy ass coat. You ain't fighting Gervonta. Eastside Cruz is. And now you want to go in here and talk about how a dude looks. Come on, bro. You on some whole shit. Too bad Floyd found a way sabotage Rolly fight. I wanted to see it. Rolly might never get an opportunity that nice for a while. Absolutely. He's hoping to get the Haney fight now. What I see Rolly doing, Rolly wants to be the guy that people start talking about, and they want people to start taking the energy off Kambosos and basically placing the whole entire attention on Rolly Romero and Devin Haney. Watch the thumbnail's gonna go up. Oh, can Devin Haney really defeat Rolly Romero? Yeah, it's gonna go up real soon. Watch. All he's trying to do is redirect. Because who's next for him? Ryan Garcia's not gonna fight your ass. You're not gonna get Javante fight anytime soon. Who's gonna be there for you? Who's gonna be there for Rolly? Some kid off the short bus with a goddamn a damn brand new helmet? Who's gonna be there for Rolly?
I don't care if he has a helmet on. I can punch through the helmet. Come on, Rolly Romero. Yeah. Hey, Marsh. Come here, Marsh. You want to go with me to the gym? Come on, Marsh.
Motherfucker talk like he never made it past the critical period of learning as a kid. Rolly talk like he 3.5, going on 4 years old, dog. Don't get mad at us that you went to bed with helmets on and motherfucking they strap your hands down. They had to put extra cushion around your shit so you wouldn't beat the damn head into the wall and put holes in the wall and shit. Obviously something was going on there, Rolly. Because the way you talk, man, you was probably bullied as a kid. I think he mentioned that. I can understand that. But now you're trying to be the bully. I can't imagine Rolly would have had a better performance than Cruz. Hell no. Hell no. I'm really curious though to see how Rolly chin is. I'm really curious to see if Rolly has an official chin. You know what I'm saying? I know he's tough. Rolly's tough. He's a dog. But I really want to see if he has a chin. If he's in there with the right person, it would be good to see Teofimo Lopez and Rolly Romero fight, but they're friends. That's not going to happen. So, I don't know. It's difficult. Outside of that, lightweight division becomes a dim lit bulb. You know what I'm saying? It's very dark and cloudy for Rolly to step in there with somebody because I'll be shocked with Ryan Garcia, who he's calling out, to fight Rolly. Seriously. Man, y'all been outstanding. Appreciate y'all for pulling up. We should do this again, man. Boxing is going to go on, man. Try to hold your patience with it. It just become extremely a state of delirium when you try to stay on task with boxing because there's so many deceptive topics that they put out there, names that we think that's going to step in the ring. They're nowhere close to stepping in the ring. So you ask yourself, what am I supporting this sport for when it's all a popularity contest and this promoter want to hit their fighter to fight a fighter internal to the promotion, or it's a reason why this fighter is fighting that. But really the ranking system don't mean shit unless it's a popular fighter up there. That's all. Unless it's a popular fighter, it don't mean shit. Because they can pull people and put them in places however they feel like it. Man, appreciate y'all pulling up. Turn up and tune in to World Combat Sports, man. I'm out. Salute.